at the end of the day, we can't be children. You see, at the end of the day, we have to reckon with ourselves. 2 police officers shot in Kentucky. All right, oh well, you know, that's how they feel about our lives, right? Or is it came two murders too late? Did we check the no-knock warrant law? Was we there when they passed it? Was we out on the street? We somewhere drinking a 40? What was we doing? What happened? I mean, just because the district attorney down there is black, that's the law. The grand and when you're grand jury could indict a ham sandwich, you nigga, or it could let any police officer go. That's what it should say. It should say a grand jury will never indict a police officer. You know that, but you know that going in. And when you know things like that going in, what happened in Kentucky, it's going to happen everywhere. There's got to be pro-action, not reaction. Normally in a battle, in a war, if you're reactive, 9 times out of 10 you don't have the high ground. Okay? If you don't have the high ground in a battle, you're sunk. If you're not there, I'm going to be going over another Civil War general. I'm not going to tell you his name because I don't want to give it away, but it's going to be tomorrow. But he said, you'll be surprised who it is, but you know me. I love surprises. He said, get there with the most men, get there first, and with the most men. Get there first, and with the most men. That's the story of that's the story of how I go about preparing for battle. You know, and it sounds like it's an ad hoc battle plan, like ad hoc battle plan. It sounds like, oh, okay, you know, this dude just fights off the cuff. Nah, it ain't like that. Before that, you have to know the ground. You have to know the demographics. You have to know your enemy's strengths. You have to know their flanks. You have to know where you're at. All that in planning, and get there with the most men. Get there first and with the most men. Okay? And it's almost as if because we're reacting, we're getting a lot of people's attention, but this could have happened. We could have done this some time ago. A lot of people could have done this some time ago. The demographics of the people who are out there in protest could have, all them people that are out there protesting, where was you at the voting box? Okay? You can sit there and talk about, oh, voting, that's a bunch of hooey, and they going to put whoever they want in there. Nah. You know what I mean? If you're out there in force, if there's so many people out there overwhelming the postal service and overwhelming the voting booths, and with our demographics, the numbers are inescapable. It's as simple as that. Think about it. You put in office, okay, if you held your nose with Hillary Clinton, you put in office a person that, for all intents and purposes, Just like your dad. Or worse, a stranger coming to your house, told, you know what I mean, sat down on your couch, you know, was making money on the stock market, so every day he could come and go as he pleased in your house, and he going to tell you, you know, how to run your house instead of working with you to run your house. And a few mugs that he brings mugs in, Klan members and hillbillies and people who can't think for themselves, you know, and niggas, kowtowing, the balls, okay? He brought all them in your spot. You know what I mean? Eating your food, you know, making money off of you, and ain't paying no rent. That's what the puppet is doing right now. And you put him there. You put him there through your apathy. You put him there, you know what I mean? The popular vote is never enough. And we all know that. But we didn't get, that's right, I'm going to say it again. We didn't get there first and with the most men. And none of this would be going on. This is our fault. This is the reason why everything is the way it is now. Sure, this may have happened under Hillary Clinton's watch, but we have had action. There have been a carryover from us brothers in office. Okay? They say that LeBron James said that, you know, black woman is the most disrespected being on earth. Look, man, I love LeBron James. And I love our black women. But our black women are no less treated than we are as black men. Okay? And we have a duty to make sure that gets heard among this. Because, see, the pendulum can swing too far to one side or the other. And, see, then it gets distorted. There has to be a balance. We talked about that before. There can't be an overcompensation of anything. Because you start doing that, and see, here's the thing. The system was set up to pit that black woman against us black men. That's the truth. We already talked about deadbeat dads and child support. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to talk about everything. They only want to react to everything. They don't want to use their sense of reason and their sense of balance and their sense of thought, proper thought, even thought, to get at the root of all these issues. If you're talking about you know, things that are going on in Kentucky, or things that happened with George Floyd. All of these things have a beginning to them. They don't come out of the blue, right? We know that. We know that a lot of it had possibly stemmed from slavery in Africa to slavery in this country. And so slavery on one continent, slavery to another continent, we can't expect we can't expect a justice for us slaves. All right? You know what I'm saying? We in the 54th have showed you got to fight for your freedom. Nobody going to give nothing to you. When I ponder the things that piss me off as a black man, that don't show me respect. When I ponder on those things, I realize that for all intents and purposes, it's what I should expect from people that don't want to understand me and want to put me in a box. Just like they put their God in a box. You see what I mean? God save me, help me. instead of listening to God's, edict. If you're not doing anything, then that means you expect nothing to happen. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not planning, then that means that you're expecting things to happen like a ship on the ocean without a rudder. Anything can happen on that ocean. And if you don't plan to have a rudder on there, if you don't plan to have provisions on that ship, if you don't plan to make sure that you have a working compass and you understand the stars in the sky have a lot to do with where you're going, if you don't understand that, you're a ship on the ocean without a rudder. Worse, you're on a ship in the ocean without provisions, without a plan, without any forethought into what you need to do to make sure that if something happens and I'm not expecting it, I can at least be prepared on some level for it. Life is about preparedness, and life is about unexpected outcomes. If you're playing football and they run a trick play on you, catch you flat-footed, that's because you wasn't preparing for that. But if they ran a trick play on you and they got maybe 10 yards, that's something tells me inside my sense of reasoning that you did prepare for it, they got something, but they didn't get it all. Let this be a part of your everyday comings and goings. And nothing will be out of your reach. The stars will be the limit.